Arnold Schwarzenegger was not born successful. He was born poor. He grew up in a small village in Austria. Life there was strict, quiet, and hard. His family had little money. Comfort was rare. Encouragement was even rarer. From a young age, Arnold felt different. He dreamed bigger than his surroundings. He imagined a life far beyond the village. He believed he was meant for more. But nobody around him believed that. When Arnold said he wanted to become famous, people laughed. When he said he wanted to move to America, they laughed harder. They told him it was impossible. They said his dreams were unrealistic. They said he had no connections. They said he had no education. And worst of all, they said he had no chance. Arnold didn't speak English well. He had a strong accent. He came from nothing. People told him, "You will never succeed." Those words followed him everywhere. Instead of accepting them, Arnold did something different. He trained. Every day, he worked on his body. He lifted weights with obsession. While others relaxed, he pushed harder. While others slept, he trained. Bodybuilding became his escape. People mocked him at first. They said muscles meant nothing. They said it wasn't a real future. They said nobody cared. Arnold didn't argue. He worked. Slowly, his body changed. Slowly, his confidence grew. Slowly, people noticed. But even when he began winning competitions, the doubt never stopped. They said bodybuilding had no future. They said it would never lead to success. They said he was wasting his life. Arnold listened carefully. Then he ignored them completely. Because deep inside, he knew something they didn't. Success doesn't come from permission. It comes from obsession. And Arnold was obsessed. But bodybuilding was only the beginning. The world still had more reasons to doubt him. And he was just getting started. Arnold's next dream was bigger than anything he had said before. He wanted to go to America. Not for vacation. Not for experience. To win. People laughed again. They told him America was not waiting for him. They told him he had no money. They told him his English was terrible. They told him his accent would destroy any chance of success. But Arnold didn't wait for approval. He moved anyway. When he arrived in America, reality hit hard. He didn't understand the language well. He didn't understand the culture. He didn't understand how anything worked. People looked at him strangely. They mocked the way he spoke. They made jokes about his accent. Even in bodybuilding, the pressure was intense. Yes, he was strong. Yes, he was impressive. But critics said his body was too much. They said Americans wouldn't accept him. They said his fame would stop at the gym. Arnold kept winning competitions, but he didn't celebrate for long. Because bodybuilding was never his final goal. He wanted Hollywood, and Hollywood didn't want him. Casting directors told him he had the wrong look. They told him his accent was impossible to understand. They told him his name was too long and too strange. Some told him directly, "You will never be a movie star." They suggested he change his name. They suggested he hide his accent. They suggested he lower his dreams. Arnold listened. Then he refused. He believed something very few people understand. Your weakness can become your weapon. Instead of hiding his accent, he kept it. Instead of shrinking himself, he grew bigger. Instead of fitting in, he stood out. While others waited for roles, Arnold trained his mind. He studied business. He invested money wisely. He learned how systems work. Even before fame, he was building wealth. People didn't see it. They were too busy laughing. But Arnold was preparing. He knew success wasn't about one door opening. It was about being ready when it finally did. And soon, that door would open. Not quietly, but loudly. Arnold's first real chance in movies did not come with respect. It came with doubt. When he finally got roles, critics didn't take him seriously. They said he was only muscles. They said he couldn't act. They said he was just a bodybuilder pretending to be an actor. Some roles barely had dialogue. People joked that his accent was too thick. They joked that he didn't need acting skills. They joked that he would disappear quickly. Arnold heard everything, and he remembered everything. Instead of fighting critics, he focused on improvement. He worked on acting. He worked on timing. He worked on presence. He treated every role like training, repetition, discipline, patience. Then came a role that changed everything. A role that didn't require long speeches. A role that needed strength, silence, and intensity. It matched him perfectly. When audiences saw him, they didn't laugh. They paid attention. The same people who doubted him now watched him dominate the screen. His presence was powerful. His confidence was undeniable. Success followed. More movies, bigger roles, more recognition. But even now, critics said it wouldn't last. They said he was lucky. They said one hit didn't mean talent. They said someone like him could never become a real star. Arnold didn't slow down. He chose roles carefully. He turned himself into a brand. He understood that success was not just performance, it was identity. He became known for strength, for determination, for never backing down. Soon, he wasn't just acting in movies. He was leading them. The immigrant with the accent was now a global star. The man they said would never succeed was everywhere. But Arnold's revenge story wasn't finished. Because even after conquering bodybuilding in movies, he wanted something no one expected. He wanted power beyond fame. And once again, people would laugh. By this point, Arnold Schwarzenegger had already done what most people thought was impossible. He became a bodybuilding legend. He became a Hollywood superstar. He became rich, famous, and respected. For most people, this would be the end. For Arnold, it was not enough. He believed success should keep growing. He believed limits were only temporary. And once again, he aimed for something that made people laugh. Politics. When Arnold said he wanted to enter politics, critics returned immediately. They laughed just like before. They said an actor. They said a foreign-born bodybuilder could never be taken seriously. Once again, they said, "You will never succeed." The same sentence, different chapter. Arnold was used to it. He studied, he listened, he prepared. He didn't rely on fame alone. He learned how leadership worked. He learned how systems worked. He surrounded himself with people who knew more than him. When he ran for office, many people doubted him. But millions believed. When he won, the world was shocked. The immigrant with the accent. The man they mocked. The one they said would never fit in. He became a leader. Arnold proved something rare. Success in one area does not mean failure in another. Discipline transfers. Focus transfers. Belief transfers. Throughout his life, Arnold never escaped doubt. It followed him everywhere. From village to America. From gym to Hollywood. From screen to politics. But doubt never stopped him. Because Arnold understood one truth. People will always doubt what they cannot imagine. And instead of fighting doubt, he used it. Every insult became fuel. Every rejection became motivation. Every no became energy. The boy they laughed at became a man they could not ignore. But the real lesson of his life wasn't fame. It was mindset. And that mindset is what completes his revenge story. In the end, Arnold Schwarzenegger's story was never about muscles. Muscles were just the beginning. The real story was about a man who was told no at every stage of his life, and refused to accept it. They said he was too poor. They said he came from the wrong place. They said his accent was too strong. They said his name was too strange. They said he would never succeed. And every time, Arnold heard the same message. You don't belong here. But Arnold never asked for permission. He believed something simple and powerful. If you work harder than anyone else, if you stay disciplined when others quit, if you keep moving forward when the world laughs, eventually, the world must stop laughing. Arnold didn't take revenge by proving people wrong with words. He didn't argue. He didn't complain. He outworked them. He turned rejection into focus. He turned doubt into fuel. He turned criticism into strength. From a small village to the biggest stages. From mocked immigrant to global icon. From you'll never make it to unforgettable. That is real revenge. Not anger. Not bitterness. But becoming undeniable. Arnold's life teaches us one truth. Your background does not decide your future. Your accent does not decide your future. Your past does not decide your future. Only one thing does. Your willingness to keep going. When everyone else thinks you should stop. This was Infinity Revenge Story. Remember, The strongest revenge is success.